Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Matt Brown. We're here with Dr. Andrew Vallo, and today we have an awesome episode subject I'm excited about. We hear this AI thing, artificial intelligence, being said all the time in marketing and dental and clinical and the business part and everything. I think AI is here to stay in dental for sure. I think it's going to make a lot of things pretty amazing. I'm really into like the AI true implanting. I think that's so Star Trek. But Dr. Vallo just came back from Bulletproof and he listened to a lot of AI speakers, and this is a really good subject. So, Dr. Vallo, when you listen to the AI speakers, what was it? You're like, I got to talk about this on the podcast. Dentists need to know.
I'm going to try to give you guys some really cool information in this podcast, but I want to start by saying that this is one of those areas where I was a little bit of a late adapter. I'm not super tech heavy, techie. I mean, I'll tell you guys, you'll notice I've never done a podcast here by myself. And Matt had asked me to do, and I was like, I can. You're going to kind of have to show me how to do this stuff because I don't really. So it's just like, it's not something that just comes natural to me. So I think I've been a little bit resistant to some of the technology, some of the AI stuff. I didn't download Chat GPT until a few months ago. It was like April of 2025. My partner and I went to a dental conference together, and on the flight home, he's like, give me your phone. I'm just downloading this for you because I've been telling you to do it for so long. So he like downloaded Chat for me and like made me an account and everything. And so I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. Started playing around with it a little bit. So over the last few months, I've gotten a little bit of that AI bug where I'm like intrigued about what the stuff can do. And I am starting to learn a little bit more about it. And I'm, watching some videos here and there, but I still haven't taken like too deep of a dive. I went to the Bulletproof Summit. They had some breakout sessions, and two of the breakout sessions were about AI in dentistry. So I was like, all right, I'm going to double down on this. I'm going to try to learn some more about AI. And I'll tell you guys what, like my mind was blown by some of these things that they were talking about. So one of my missions for the next 6 to 12 months is to really try to start leveraging more AI in our dental group. And it started with, I'm starting to make profiles or make accounts on some of these other AI, because there's a lot. So all I really knew about was Chat, but obviously there's a lot of those that are more into AI. There's a lot of different AI platforms that are better at doing different things. One of the first like new platforms that I did, I made an account for like Vallo 3, like video production. And I did it through like Gemini. And in my summit podcast episode, I talk about how I started making some videos for my presentations to our dental group at the summit. One of the videos is our intro where I'm a toothbrush and I'm talking to our audience, which is a bunch of tubes of toothpaste. Two of the videos are different ways that a phone call can go when a patient's trying to cancel. And in both the videos, the patient was like a dolphin and the receptionist was a flamingo wearing one of our shirts with our logos on it. So, I mean, very, very cool. Even if you know almost nothing about technology, you can make an account and you can literally type in what you want the video to be and it'll spin out. Is it perfect? No. They're short form. They're like 8-second max right now. I imagine over the next 6 to 12 months, things are going to get even better. But I was pretty impressed. I was pretty impressed with the qualities of the videos that they were able to make in just a couple minutes of processing time from this little quick prompt that I gave it. So that was cool. I think it's going to add some. We're our summit's tomorrow, so we're recording a bunch of episodes today, the day before our annual summit. But I think it's going to be some cool content for our summit audience. I'm also planning to leverage these AI videos for our social media. So, obviously we're big on Instagram and Facebook for getting new patients. So I'm going to start making some kind of funny dental theme videos. They told us, or they gave us a demonstration about a dentist who is now booked out for like 2 years from one kind of risque, I guess you could say, AI video he did. So if you haven't seen it, I actually don't know like the name of the dentist or the name of the video, but I'm sure it'd be easy to find. It's like Bigfoot, and Bigfoot is skydiving while drinking beer, and he hits the ground hard and he breaks his front teeth out. And all of a sudden he walks into this person's dental office and then he's getting his teeth fixed. And I mean, there's, some foul language in the video. Like I said, like, I don't know if I would have the guts to like put my name and my dental group. Like we were having a conversation, the Uber to dinner after that seminar, about like, man, it took some guts for him to do that, because I'm sure there are some people that are like, how unprofessional is this? But here's the thing, man, there's the whole thing of no publicity is bad publicity. And there were enough people that just thought it was absolutely hilarious and found him that he blew up and his practice is booked out for like 2 years from one video. So I'm not saying that I'm going to do that per se. And one thing, again, these videos are 8 seconds, so I guess you have to like link them together. So again, I'm not super techie. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do all that, or maybe hire somebody to help me with doing that stuff. But that's my plan, is to start leveraging AI to make some more short form content for our social media, for our dental group, for our meetings and our summits and things like that. Another thing that was really cool, somebody was talking about, there was a dentist that made a custom GPT and they put in court law documents. And so basically they found court law from cases where dental insurances wrongly denied claims that should have been approved. And this custom GPT will spit out an appeal letter and point to the appropriate law case that revolved around that specific, treatment or decision or whatever it was. And they said he's had like 100% success rate at getting these denied claims, because once the insurance company sees the court law in there and they're like, oh shit, they like put their diaper on and they're like, yep, just, here's the claim. We don't want any issues, that type of a thing. So very, very cool uses for AI in dentistry. Obviously there's voice agents. That's something else that I think a year ago, I was kind of looked into it a little bit and it definitely was not there yet. It's gotten a lot better. And once again, the next 6 to 12 months, I think it's going to get even better from here. I think pretty soon, these AI voice agents are going to be as good or better than the humans that are trained to take the phone calls. Because the thing is, like, the AI is less likely, once it gets good enough, it's less likely to go off script, to make mistakes and things like that than humans typically are. And obviously, there's a lot of cost savings there. And you can have like 100% answer rate, basically, as long as the call's not dropped, the AI agent's going to pick it up, whatever it is. So I think there's a lot of opportunity in AI voice agents. Again, it's not something we're doing right this second, but it's something I'm keeping a close eye on. If nothing else, maybe to start as an overflow, because despite having a call center and virtual assistants and, phones that can ring to the office, we're still missing more calls than I'd like. So maybe that can be like that kind of catch safe for calls that aren't picked up by anybody else, at least to start. So that's another idea that we have. One last topic, then I'll let Matt, kind of get in and ask some questions or talk about other stuff with it. But the last thing and this is something I'm really excited about. One of the breakout sessions was about building applications with AI, and they were like web apps. So, they were like linked to a website and stuff. But there were some different things about like using AI to, track phone calls, or using AI to, do this. And I had asked, I was like, what about AI for a patient loyalty program? Because I've kind of thought about this a little bit before, like there's like an iPhone app, like think the Starbucks app or something similar, where you go in, you're a customer, you make a purchase or whatever it is, you check in the store, you get points. Points can start to get you rewards like free coffee or whatever it is. What if we did something like that for dentistry, for our dental group? And my thought was, they can get points just for like checking in at the office, maybe something with the office Wi-Fi or whatever it is. They can get points maybe for doing procedures or cleanings or whatever. They get points for, I think I'm going to do points for like home care tracking. My thought is the more they open the app, the more they're thinking about us, the more likely they're going to, schedule their next treatment, make their next appointment, whatever it is. So I thought like we can give them points just for like checking in at home and saying that they brushed and flossed or whatever. And I mean, obviously they can make that up, but either way, they're opening our app, they're looking at our stuff, they're seeing their point balance, all that stuff. And I thought, points could add up to things like free teeth whitening options or discounts on treatment, or maybe a free dental cleaning if they don't have insurance, or office swag, t-shirts or things like that. So the other thing I thought we could do with the app is we could track referral. So like we get $50 referral credits. We could track the referral credits in the app, versus right now we've got kind of a antiquated way of doing it in Open Dental. So I thought that could be a better way of doing that too. So I talked to them a little about the app. They kind of, played with a quick test on it. It seems like it's definitely plausible. I think the biggest concerns of the app right now is, one, while the AI software can do maybe 90% of it, they said you're still going to want to hire probably someone like a freelance, app designer to kind of fine tune it. And two, the HIPAA compliance, or like technically speaking, the AI could make it HIPAA compliant, but like I wouldn't trust it for sure. So long story short, they said what used to cost 6 figures, like $120,000 to build an iPhone app, like this. They said they think now if we do a good job with like the planning of it with the AI software, we could probably have someone come in and fine tune it for maybe $10,000. And I'm like, man, for at least for our group at this point, I think $10,000 invested in a patient loyalty app would be money well spent. So that is something that we're starting to look at a little bit behind the scenes here too. And it's something I'm hoping we'll be able to roll out in the next 6 to 12 months for our group as well.
Such an exciting time in dentistry. Like up until like 2005, maybe, I don't know, like dentistry hadn't changed really. Like you still have paper charts and, you know, old traditional x-rays. Today, like with scanners and stuff, AI treatment planning, like in theory, you can shoot a CBCT and a scan and have it dump into the software. And by the time you walk into the operatory, you have a treatment plan to edit, not create. Right. And I feel like in dentistry, it's just going to get better and better and better. And the AI voice agents, like you were talking about, really big provider of voice communication in our space, kind of demoed something for me. And I don't know if it's open knowledge of the new product or not. So I don't want to give away any info. Yeah. But I was like, Doug, you should see this. And I got to see it, hear it, and deal with it. And I was like, man, and where I think people are like, oh, it's going to replace a front desk person.
My take on this is I want my in-office teams focused on the patients at the office. I don't want them distracted from that. So I agree with you. Like there's a talk of like, hey, with all this AI, we can replace front desk. You know, now again, I don't like the term front desk. Like, you know, I don't like the term staff. I think verbiage matters. So I'm big on, we call, you know, our people up front, patient concierge, office manager, treatment coordinator, you know, whatever it is. But I don't have any intention of replacing our patient concierges. I think it's part of that patient experience to have that person up there welcoming them, helping them certain parts of check-in, maybe getting, you know, offering them a beverage or whatever it is. So I think it is important to still have, you know, humans involved in those processes. But if it could save us some costs on the call center, if the AI agents can do as well or better than the call center agents at booking appointments, if there's less missed phone calls, and if our front office team doesn't have to spend as much time with the phones dealing with those things and spend more time dealing with the patients in the office, I do think that's a win-win. I will tell you, I will probably, like I said, test it out either as overflow or maybe like try one office first to kind of see how it goes from there. Because there is always a concern, like what if it doesn't work nearly as well as you think? And obviously we get a lot of new patients. So like that could be a big issue for our practices if all of a sudden new patients weren't being converted because this AI agent couldn't do it. But I'll tell you what, man, I know AI is working well for booking patients online. I know that Energize is seeing higher conversion rates, higher book rates from Facebook Messenger with AI agents than they were seeing when it was all human agents replying to those conversations, with quicker response times, with, you know, less mistakes and all that other stuff. So I do think it's very plausible that it could not only save you money, save you time, save your team from having to deal with that stuff so they could focus on the patients at the office. I think it's very plausible it could also be more effective at booking new patients.
I think we booked 20,000. I think the number is 20,000 dental appointments a month we book now. We handle about 100,000 conversations, I think is the number. And we switched to AI. I want to say it was like a 10 plus increase in bookings. And, you know, the reality is humans are very inconsistent and the AI is super consistent. And I think you hit on something, the response time. When a patient has their phone out and they're in the Messenger app and they're messaging, keeping their attention is hard. And what it comes to is first person to the target wins. If you don't respond and a notification comes down at the top that's from like their girlfriend, their boyfriend, their wife, the kids are sick, and they click on that, they're not going back to your Facebook Messenger message.
AI is programmed as one of their first tasks to get their contact information. Because once you have their cell phone and email, then you can follow up with that person, that lead. But unfortunately, with the Facebook Messenger, I think there's a lot of people that don't really get on Messenger ever, but they see the ad, and the way we design our ads is like, hey, there's a shiny offer, but you got to click this button that says send message. So they send us a message and they start chatting. But like if things go cold for, I mean, honestly, even a few minutes sometimes, they they're like, okay, enough of this. They exit out of Facebook. And when they go back in, they don't check their Messenger because they're never on Messenger, and they like forget about it. Either they forget about it, they call another dental office, whatever it is. So I think the Facebook Messenger is very, very effective for us at booking patients. It's one of our lowest, Instagram and Facebook Messenger are our lowest cost per new patient acquisition, but you do have to be on it and capture their attention immediately, which either means you need a huge team of human agents that are answering all these messages and getting the next person and all that stuff, or you need AI to just come in and instantly respond to everything.
I think there's 3 layers of AI innovation in a practice the way I see it. So the first fundamental layer is practice management software is having AI in it to get the right reporting you want and to know more because it's analyzing the data faster. So as a manager or owner of a practice, I think the first layer at the bottom is like AI is going to come into practice management software at some point and be better at giving you the information you need. I think the layer after that is the clinical layer, which is going to lead to the first layer ultimately. I think the clinical layer is going to make docs' jobs easier and more efficient and allow them to focus more on the patient in front of them, on the human terrain, and less on the clinical terrain and being kind of clunky and clinical about it. Now, where that kicks up to is I think the ultimate one where it all ends up to is I believe patient experience is going to be raised drastically by AI, starting from booking the appointment all the way through the practice. And I think that does layer. I think the second layer ends up making the first layer better. If doc can not have to treatment plan really big cases and just edit them, then he's spending more time with the patient. So I think AI being embraced right now is really critical because I believe it's going to raise the overall effectiveness of the practice from the management side all the way to clinical, all the way to patient experience. I think they're the 3 places I see the biggest improvement from AI where it's really going to make a change.
Maybe we're a little bit slower we're not at the back of the pack, but I'm usually not on the forefront of adapting new things. I like to let other people be guinea pigs. I wasn't, one of the first practices to get like AI imaging like Overjet Pearl, but we did add Overjet at the beginning of this year. I do think it's been impactful. We obviously talked about some of these other ideas, video creation, AI voice agents and chat agents, applications, custom GPTs. I do think another big one is practice. So we're still using Open Dental for our group. That's what I started with. I am excited to talk again with Jonathan from Archie. So that's that cloud-based software. I demoed it about a year ago, and I was really impressed with the demo. I wasn't ready to pull the trigger on swapping from Open Dental, server-based to a cloud-based software. But I've met Jonathan at a few different events. I think that his software is pretty cool, and I know they've been continuing to add some more AI advancements. I do think we plan to have him on at some point to talk a little bit more about, Archie. I told him I was going to do another demo at some point as well. Either way, I think there are a lot of these advancements that will be coming to practice management software. The imaging software is kind of already there with the Overjet and the Pearl. I think it's like anything else. If you're too late to adapt, you can get left behind. And so, again, that's always my goal when it comes to new technology. I don't want to be the first person there. I don't want to be the first person in the party, because typically that's often when they are still working out kinks and things like that are going on. But I also don't want to be the last to arrive when it's already on to the next thing. So I think it's important to try to gauge that, to time it out, to do your research. I think going to conferences can be helpful. Again, if I hadn't gone to that conference, if I hadn't gone to those breakout sessions, I would have no idea about some of the cool things that AI is doing right now. So I think it's important that you stay on top of your education with new procedures, new materials, new technology. That's the only way you can kind of keep up with the growth. But again, I think go into things with a little bit of caution, because often when something's brand new, they're still kind of trying to work out some of the bugs.
We have to wrap this show up. Hey guys, it was a great episode. I think we're going to have a couple AI experts on here in the future. I think for sure Jonathan and maybe an engineer or Kevin from Mango Voice on the voice side. I think there's a couple really good AI episodes we could do. Hey guys, please click like, subscribe, please share. We don't have sponsors. We do this for the betterment of you guys. Me and Andrew love exploring these things and explaining them and seeing what we see in the marketplace on the higher level. So thank you guys so much and have a wonderful day.